When we think about the architecture of social power, we're usually trained to spot the obvious stuff, the loud conflict, the direct challenge. But what if the most sophisticated weapon isn't the one you can see? What if it's a meticulously crafted silence, a void that's actually engineered to control you? Today, we are going to deconstruct a really potent and, frankly, insidious form of social warfare, outsider targeting. Just let that sink in for a second. The real assertion of dominance, the most profound display of power, it often comes from people who just refuse to grant you the currency of their attention. And this isn't some clumsy rejection. No, it's a calculated strategy. It's designed not to kick you out, but to hold you in the state of permanent orbit, where you're useful, but you are never, ever equal. So what is this feeling? What is this dynamic? Well, this whole phenomenon is a tactic of social control, and we're going to call it outsider targeting. You can think of it like an invisible perimeter fence. It's this unseen barrier that defines the real boundaries of power and belonging inside any group. Let's break down exactly what that means. Okay, so outsider targeting isn't about kicking you out of the group. It's actually way more subtle, and because of that, it's far more effective. It's this psychological fence that keeps you close enough to be an asset, to contribute your best ideas, your unpaid labor, your social capital, but it makes sure you're always kept just far enough from the core that you never actually get a real say. It masterfully weaponizes your primal biological need to belong, and it turns it into a remote control for your behavior. All right, let's move away from the clinical definition and get into what this actually feels like. Because if you're watching this, there's a good chance you've felt this firsthand. It's that exhausting, sinking feeling of being unheard in a room full of people. It's a very specific pattern of interaction, and it's designed to push you into a state of quiet desperation. Have you ever been in this exact moment? We call it the recognition gap. You offer a valuable insight, and then there's a silence. But it's not a thoughtful silence. Instead of anyone looking at you, their eyes dart to each other, or maybe to the unspoken leader of the pack. They're doing this silent, split-second check. Are we allowed to validate this person? This isn't just awkward. It is a tactical erosion of your cognitive sovereignty. It's designed to make you doubt the very validity of your own voice. And the cost of being caught in this trap? Well, it's debilitating. It pushes you into what's called over-functioning. You find yourself working twice as hard, preparing twice as much, just to earn the basic recognition that other people get effortlessly. This creates a state of strategic insecurity, where all your mental energy is just consumed by trying to decode unspoken rules and social cues. Your brain gets locked in the survival loop, and it dedicates all these precious cognitive resources to a single primal question: what do I need to do to get in? The result is pretty much inevitable. Your focus gets fractured, your creativity is suffocated, and your will is just drained by this constant state of social hypervigilance. Okay, let's dive into this, because these feelings are not accidental. They're the predictable output of a deliberate four-stage system, a system we can call the social access tax. It's a price you're forced to pay for entry that is never really granted. Understanding these stages, well, it reveals the architecture of the trap, and it's the only way to begin taking it apart. Now, this isn't a series of random slights. It is a methodical process where each stage reinforces the others to escalate control and condition you into seeking their approval. It's basically a feedback loop of exclusion. This is where the trap closes. So stage one is the cultural lock. The in-group uses this rapid-fire shorthand, inside jokes, and constant references to a shared history that you just don't have. This isn't just casual conversation. It's the deliberate construction of an informational barrier. The goal here is to make you feel perpetually one step behind, like you're an ignorant newcomer, reinforcing that you just don't have the password to the group's real culture. Next up is stage two, the recognition bypass. This is that recognition gap we just talked about, but now it's deployed as a consistent tactic. When you speak, group members will actively filter your contribution. They'll pause, they'll look to an alpha member, and they'll wait for a micro signal, a nod, a smile, before they react. Here's the leverage point. This forces you into a submission reflex. It unconsciously trains you to seek their permission before you even speak. Stage three escalates things into the physical domain, the V angle. Watch for this one. When three or more members of the in-group are talking, they will, either consciously or unconsciously, angle their shoulders and their bodies inward, and they form this closed V shape. This is what we call body language barricading. It creates a physical no-entry sign, forcing you to just hover at the periphery, never able to actually break into the circle. It's a powerful, nonverbal way of saying this space is closed. And finally, stage 4, which is probably the most insidious of all, validation rationing. This is the access effort loop. The group gives out these tiny micro hits of warmth, a brief moment of eye contact, a shared laugh, a minor compliment, but only after you have provided something of immense value to them. Your labor, your idea, your network. This temporary approval, it acts like a drug, creating this addictive cycle that keeps you perpetually working for the group, always chasing that next hit of validation. Now, what's really fascinating here is understanding why this system is so brutally effective. This isn't just about hurt feelings or office politics. This system works because it hacks into the most primitive wiring of your brain. It finds a deep-seated neural vulnerability and it exploits it for social control. So let's ask the fundamental question here. Why does being ignored or excluded feel so viscerally painful? It feels less like a social slight and more like a physical injury. And well, there's a very specific biological reason for that. The answer is both simple and pretty profound. It hurts so much because to your brain, it is hurt. Neurologically speaking, the sting of social rejection isn't just a metaphor for pain, it's a direct experience of it. Your brain processes the emotional distress of being ostracized in the exact same neural pathways that it uses to process a physical injury. So the crucial point is this part of your brain right here, the anterior cingulate cortex. fMRI studies actually confirm that this region lights up identically when you stub your toe and when you're socially excluded by a group. So this means the group isn't just making you feel sad, they are actively weaponizing your brain's own pain response system against you. That feeling of being left out is, quite literally, your brain screaming in pain. And this biological reaction then gets amplified by these powerful psychological traps. You've got the halo effect, which convinces you that the group's exclusivity must mean they're superior. Social comparison theory turns the blame inward, making you ask, what's wrong with me, instead of what system is being deployed against me. The spotlight effect makes you intensely aware of your own awkwardness, which just drains your cognitive function. And all of this is built on top of a million years of evolutionary pressure where being cast out from the tribe was a literal death sentence. So now that we've diagnosed the system and we understand the biology that it exploits, we can shift our focus. How do we respond? This is where we stop being a target and we start being a strategist. It demands a fundamental shift in mindset, from one that seeks permission to one that asserts sovereignty. The choice you face is stark. You can stay in the petitioner mindset, where you're constantly seeking approval, you're yielding physical and intellectual ground, and you're shrinking yourself to be more acceptable. Or you can adopt the strategic observer mindset. Here, you mentally label the tactics as they happen, you hold your ground, and you signal your independence. The first one is a trap. The second one is freedom. Okay, so let's get practical. Let's see how this all builds. There are 4 immediate countermeasures you can deploy to reclaim your agency and break the system's hold over your attention and your energy. First, label the signal. The moment you feel that V angle form or you hear that inside joke, just mentally name it. That's a perimeter fence. That's a recognition bypass. This simple act of labeling keeps your logical prefrontal cortex engaged, and it actually short-circuits the emotional pain response. The second countermeasure, build network redundancy. Stop dedicating all your energy to getting inside their circle. Instead, build strong alliances and coalitions with people outside of it. When you have your own network for information and validation, their social monopoly just collapses. Third, maintain physical sovereignty. When they physically angle you out, do not shrink, do not step back. Hold your ground, keep your posture open and grounded. This non-verbally signals that you do not require their permission to occupy space. And finally, the fourth tool, the neutral pivot. When they deploy that inside language to exclude you, don't ask what it means. That's a petitioner's move. Instead, pivot to objective, verifiable data. Leaving that aside for a moment, the Q3 data shows this immediately restores your cognitive sovereignty and shifts the basis of power back to competence. And deploying these tools leads to a profound paradigm shift. It's a fundamental reframing of your entire objective. The goal is no longer to be accepted by the group that is excluding you. The goal is to make their acceptance completely and utterly irrelevant. Let this principle really sink in. The person who waits for an invitation, who needs the inner circle's validation to feel confident, is by definition positioning themselves as a follower. True influence, real leadership, it never comes from petitioning for entry. It comes from demonstrating such undeniable value that the group has no choice but to recognize your power and engage with you on your terms. So what's the ultimate takeaway here? It's simple. And it's powerful. If you are constantly fighting for an invitation to a circle that is already closed, you are not a peer, you are an audience. The most effective countermeasure is to just disengage from their game entirely. Stop fighting for a seat at their table. Go and build your